Welcome to the Parkiet TV studio on the sidelines of the second 3 Seas Stock Exchange conference in Warsaw. My guest is Mr. Nikoloz Gagua, Vice Governor of the Central Bank of Georgia, National Bank of Georgia. Nikoloz, most of our audience is probably not very familiar with the Georgian financial market, the capital market. So could you please briefly describe it? How many companies are listed in Georgia? Whether the equity part of the market is more important than the bond market?
Well, thank you for the question. First of all, let me start with the congratulations of the 30 years anniversary of the Warsaw Stock Exchange, which is really, I mean, one of the most remarkable developments in post-communist era in this whole era, and this is really, I mean, a very big achievement, and I'm really honored to be here. Georgian capital markets are not really, I mean, as well developed as you see here in Poland, in some other countries. Georgian financial sector is very much bank-centric or commercial bank dominated, and that area of financial intermediation actually is much more developed. I mean, Georgian banks are quite advanced and listed. Several of them are listed on London Stock Exchange prime listing, and I mean, so far the economic development is supported by this type of financial intermediation. But as I mentioned during conference, this is one of the impediment to the further development of Georgian economy, which is the development of which is quite robust. I mean, not counting, of course, 2020, when we have economic growth, but the years previous to that, our economic growth was over 5% average, and this year we are experiencing double-digit growth. For example, second quarter growth was 29.9%. So, but again, I mean, capital market development is a very important issue for economic development. So I would say that further economic growth and building more robust economic growth is very much dependent on the capital market. We see, I mean, quite strong recent developments, mainly on fixed income side. But yeah, again, our reforms and our policies is focused on more success in this direction.
The Central Bank of Georgia plays a role as the main regulator of the market. So I understand that when you say that there is a need to further develop the capital market, this is actually partially your responsibility. So I'm wondering what is your strategy of developing the market? What are the plans for the future?
Well, I mean, the strategy, of course, is quite big. It will be hard to discuss it now. And again, central bank is a regulator, but on the other hand, central bank also plays a role in on a development side, which is, I mean, slightly different, but central bank plays both roles. Well, the strategy is of course to open up room for more companies to come to the market. The strategy is we started the pension reform, which clearly created significant room for significant savings for capital market development. I think that the strategy is more focused on on issuer side. I mean, to promote capital market for potential investors and invest for potential issuers. And there's the main idea of the strategy is that if you have issuers, investors will come. So I think that more promotion on private sector side, who are potential issuers of capital market, is a core of the strategy.
We were speaking during the conference of the stock exchanges of Central Eastern Europe, so the natural question here is about the scope for cooperation. Do you see any potential for the stock exchanges of our region, broadly defined, to cooperate?
Yes, I mean, I was very glad to observe that cooperation. That is happening among Central European countries, and definitely we see that one of the potential areas in our capital market development strategy, of course, is cooperation with Central European countries, and we want to start and establish that good cooperation, which will be very important and key for the success of stock exchange and capital markets in Georgia.
And could you say how did the COVID-19 pandemic influence or impact the financial market in Georgia?
Well, on capital market, the impact was quite different than we observed in developed markets, because during developed markets the markets were growing quite robustly, while in Georgia actual capitalization of the markets dropped, and probably that's quite symptomatic for underdeveloped market. But on the rest of the financial sector, as we see in other sides of the financial sector, like commercial banking, of course, I mean, they once again demonstrated their robustness, and that's globally financial sector in Georgia is quite robust, quite strong, and I think regulation works very well to ensure the strength of the sector. But still, capital markets are lagging behind in terms of development.
My last question will be a little bit off topic. I'm wondering, what is Georgia's role to the European Union? I know that you're an associated country, but I'm wondering, are you actively trying to become a member of the EU? What was the current state of affairs?
Well, I would say that EU membership is the biggest objective of current generation of Georgia. We call it Georgia Enter. So, so we think that we are very much dedicated towards set objectives. I mean, reforms on economic side, on political side, in many areas. So once again, let me reiterate that it's definitely the biggest objective of current generation of Georgians.
And you call it Genter?
Genter, yeah.
So good luck with Genter. Our guest was Mr. Nikoloz Gagua, a Vice Governor of the National Bank of Georgia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.